Obama's prior addresses and Social Security number using Intellius, LexisNexis, ChoicePoint, and other public records. Sankey found some 25 Social Security numbers connected to Obama's name. Now, I asked the question, if these knuckle-dragging cave maggots can find all this shit out, why in hell's toilet they can't find out that you built the fucking pyramids? Why in hell they keep digging to find themselves, and as I said in Hidden Colors, they keep digging, and the deeper they dig, the blacker the planet gets. But they have micromanaged, they have gotten their telescopes and microscopes and went up the orifices, everybody, to look for evidence of just who this black man is. And they are coming out with all kinds of things, as you will see. Deep. They can find what they want to find. But they can't find you anywhere on the cave walls, I mean, on the pyramid walls. They know you ain't on the cave walls, but they look for you and they say, no, no, that can't be them on the pyramid walls. Pardon my French. In his home state of Illinois, Sankey tracked down 16 different addresses for Barack Obama, or Barack H. Obama, all of which were addresses he was known to have lived at. 2 Social Security numbers appear for these addresses, one beginning with 042 and the other starting 364. In California, where Obama attended Occidental College, there are 6 addresses listed for him, all within easy driving distance of the college. However, there are 3 Social Security numbers connected to these addresses, 537 and 2 others starting with 999? There is no such thing. There is no such thing. And you know, those of you who are Moors and dealing with the so-called sovereign community, that whenever you want to just put a computer identification number down, you just put down 99999. That's when you don't want to know them to know who you are, or you want to maintain anonymity. All told, there are 49 addresses and 16 different Social Security numbers listed for a person whose name is spelled Barack Obama. In some cases, the middle initial H is listed. The one Social Security number Obama most frequently used, beginning with the number 042, was the number issued in Connecticut sometime during 1976 and 1977. Yet there is no record of Obama ever living or working in Connecticut. In fact, during this time period, Obama is 15 to 16 years old and supposedly living in Hawaii at the time. There are nearly a dozen aliases, at least 2 different Social Security numbers, and upward of over 99 separate addresses for a Ann Durham, his mother. His grandmother, Madeline Dunham, was a volunteer at the Oahu Circuit Court Probate Department and had access to the Social Security numbers of dead people. Ooh. Ooh. And you can write a story around this and make a movie. It gets deeper. This, when people were asking, they called people who wanted his birth certificate birthers, the birthers. So they said, give us your birth certificate. So Obama said, and his boy said, here is my birth certificate, now get over it. But you know these devils ain't gonna say that. They say, okay, well you gave us something, let's see what you got. Let me take a look at what you gave us. That's it. Now, bogus. There is no authoritative or authentic paper record for the Barack Hussein Obama II on a birth certificate in Hawaii or any other state. There is no authentic record, paper or otherwise, of a name exchanged for a Bari M. Shabazz, or any interim identity to Barack Hussein Obama II. There is no Stanley Ann Durham. There was no Barack Hussein Obama II born to Stanley Ann or a Barack Obama Sr. There is no official seal. Here we have, now I want you to take a look at it. This is the certificate of live birth. Check it out. Now I'm going to do something. Check the name. This is the evidence of the name of the signatory. This was supposedly signed by his mother, and the, I guess, ethnicity and the university where the mother was going and the ethnicity of the father. And I said, pay close attention to the writing 8761. Now, why am I doing that? Why am I asking you to pay attention to these little details on what they released? Okay? First of all, if you look at the lettering, there is a white haloing around the letters, which means it's a bogus document. It means it was put together. Look at the continuity of the lines. There's no continuity in the line, which means the breaking point that someone was actually splicing the lines together and didn't do a very good job. The noise, what they call inconsistencies of continuity in the line pattern below the numbers to the right. That document on the right has what is known as digital consistency. There is no haloing or line inconsistency in it. Wait a minute, who is that? Aris! Hold the presses. Y'all gotta get to know this brother. This was the man who introduced raw foods to New York and everywhere else on the planet. The raw food man, Sunfire.
Don't forget, on the 15th of September, he'll be in Nicholas King Simon Productions.
Oh, look at this boy. I'm telling you, it's something else. Gotta get it in there. Had to do that. This is old school. This is like, you know, definitely. No haloing in the line. You see there is consistency. Whatever it is that that document was created to do and for, you will see that document itself is real. That document, which is alleged to be Obama's certificate, is not. The certificate of live birth is not an official birth certificate mandated by or as federal law code. No green pattern background existed in 1961 or prior to the modern computer word processing programs of the 1990s. These green pattern backgrounds are the legal federal industry code for a certificate of live birth, never for an official birth certificate, which are usually black and white, but with green or blue watermarks such as the state seal. The hospital where Obama was said to be born is identified as being located on the wrong Hawaiian island. Evidence of an editing mistake by the forgers. Obama's parents' homes remains located in the middle of a Hawaiian highway. Google it. Google the address of Obama's home, his parents' home, and you'll end up in the middle of the highway. Adobe Illustrator, back-engineered archives, and box editing on document presented officially by the White House as legitimate record of live birth for Obama or Barack Hussein Obama. Forensic mystery marks on Nordyke twins' birth certificate show up exactly on Obama's birth certificate. In other words, there was a set of twins born on the exact time frame. I'm just giving you this pieces right here. Researchers also discovered that a baby girl, Virginia Sanahara, was born on the same day as Obama and is claims to have been born, that he was claimed to have been born. However, she died one day after her birth. Aware of the controversy about Obama's birth and the coincident date of his sister's birth, when Virginia's brother Duncan requested a copy of Virginia's birth certificate, he was met with news that shook him. It had been reported in 2010 that DOH, Department of Health Director Loretta Fuddy, claimed that no records existed for Virginia Sanahara. Where had her birth record gone? Was her place in Hawaiian birth history commandeered to make room for Obama II? Now, I am parroting off of the research of, again, these Europeans and putting in my own commentary. And we are going to get a little bit more. These are the two birth certificates that they are now putting in question. The one for Susan and the one for Gretchen. Now, there are certain marks. The reason why I asked you to look at that, remember I showed you this one? Yeah. If you look at the forensics of the writing, it's the same. This is Obama's, but here's what I want you to look at. This is the file number, and all file numbers are supposed to be in sequence. Now, if you look at the date of Obama's birth, date of birth, August 4th, 1961. File number 151611061. Date of birth of the girls, August 5th, 1961. File number 151611067. They were born after him, but had a lower number. The spook who got in the door. Oh, it gets better. This is me showing you so that those who are home, you home, can do your own forensics. There's the date of birth. There's the sequence. August 4th, August 5th. There it is. Check it out. Out of sequence. Now, I want you to look at this. The pencil marks that I showed you, to look at this part, there's these pencil marks that are here. This number is 999. These are all official statistics. Those people who did the putting down the statistics of birth records, they put down 9 and 9. So in 1961, the Vital Statistics Instructions Manual for Birth Race was quoted by the following numerical system. Number 1 is white, 2 is Negro, Indian, Alouettes and Eskimos, Chinese, Japanese, Hawaiian, number 6, other than white, number 7, 8, no classification, and 9 is... unknown. The term African as a race or nationality identifier was not used in Hawaiian birth records till after 1989. What's it doing up there? It was not used until 1989. This is 1961. Now I'm showing you the same thing here. Here's the old certificate here, and look at the numbers and how it's written. Look at the number 61. It's the same. So it's obvious that the same person who did that, they stole it from whoever this was, whoever actually this whole birth certificate really belonged to. But I want you to look at this. Stanley and Durham, they stuck the Stanley in there. And Durham, Obama, Stanley and Durham, Obama, and look at the signature of the attendant and tell me that the same person who wrote, I just figured that one out. Look at the M. It's the same. Look at the D. It's the same. I guess, you know, he tried to make it a little bit more, but the forensics and the movement, the attitude is the same. But I want you to take a look at the guy who is the state registrar. What's his name? Alvin. Yeah. But wait, do you notice something about his name? What do you see there? Here's where they're telling you, excuse the expression, fuck off. Watch. Look at his A. There's a little smiley face. Now they released this record to the people and said, here is his birth certificate, go home, leave me alone. The president is the president. But wait, it gets better. Where did they say he was born? Hawaii. What is the instrument that they usually play? Ukulele. Oh, really? Well, let's look at the name of the... Nice. Now, when I started looking into this, no, but see, it gets even better because, see, when you don't care anymore because you've been conquered and your ass already owns everything, you say to hell with it. So who is he? Does he look like him? No. Some people say, and they've been for real with it, that he was the son of a communist pornographer and adult book writing man named Frank Marshall Davis. And he looks pretty good like him, doesn't he? He got his features and faces, look like him too a little bit. You know, he could go, I mean, hey, maybe, you know, what the hell? I mean, let's try him again. Let's try this again. Looks like him there, doesn't it? Oh, it could be Jay-Z, you're right. It could even be Jay-Z. Could even be Jay-Z. His pops. Now let's try something else though. They got real deep with this one. The middle child is a son of Frank Marshall Davis by a mother. Somewhere could be, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. No, maybe there's one more, just maybe one more. I think that Barack, yeah, maybe, you know, I think the nose knows the truth though. Check the nose. It occurred to me that all these old pictures of Barack Obama, he looked a little bit different than he does now. Now I'm wondering, some told me that maybe brother got clipped. I was waiting to see if he would moonwalk, and then, you know, there may be a connection after that, but then, whoa! Yeah, so I'm wondering now if he wanted to be more Caucasian so that he could appeal to his voters? Because he always knew he could get the black vote. Okay, so, he looks like somebody else. That face has a whole other look. But then, of course, Mama got it too. Say it ain't so. Fine, sister. Fine, sister. Then what? But I'm saying, you know, when you're married, you want to do it with, you know, as far as your husband and your wife, you want to kind of do it right together, and A, B, and a third. Mama got it clipped too. Mama got it clipped. But then we gotta go real and find out what this deal really is, because I'm gonna tell you the truth, brothers and sisters. The only person that this could possibly have been the father of is my man, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because back about before his first presidency ended, I did something called Obama and the New Old Order. Now, when I did that, I did it because my queen, Dr. Nalani, when we were looking, because everybody was looking at the address at that time, I said, well, turn it on. Let me take a look at this guy who is going to be the president now. And he came out, she came out in the red and black, which was the color of anarchy. Most people didn't know. They said, well, does she look like the Black Widow? No, it was the color of anarchy they came out in. And I wanted to see what this brother was going to say. And it was beautiful because he came out, brothers, clean, walked out, had everybody going. And he had swag. The brother was, well, no, he wasn't swag. Yeah, he did. That's true, he is. He does have swag. Yeah, he does have swag, you're right. You're right. Secretly, we are gay. That's right. He does have swag. No. We're going to find that out, too, somewhere down the line. But understand why I chose him, because we were looking at the television at the time, and we were doing things while we were listening to him, and she walked by, stopped, looked at the television, she said, wow, he reminds me of Malcolm. And she just walked out the room, and I said, doing. Whoa. And I stopped and I looked at the brother. I said, no. So there I was. I'm looking at that and I'm saying, no. Then all of a sudden I said, could it be? Yes, it could be. So I started putting down all the things that could possibly have been related to that. I had no idea there were other people who were doing the same thing. I was part of the 100 monkey phenomenon. It just hit me. So I began looking. Barack Hussein Obama's real name is Barry Malik Shabazz. That's why he ain't releasing any birth certificate. Born October 28th, 1959 in New York City, issued Social Security number 084545926 in New York City in 1974. Again, regarding records of his true identity, we find no actual birth record, no actual marriage document for the parents of a Barack Obama II, no actual divorce decree for parents, no actual school records, no actual family photos except photo ops. Photo ops. Difference. No legal selective service application, no actual passport. Bari means of Allah. In Islam, Allah, as the principle of Al-Bari, means the evolver, he who creates all things in proportions. Al-Bari also means the maker, the producer, the maker from nothing, the one. Malik or Malachi means Lord, Master, Sovereign King. Malik is Arabic for Malachi, meaning messenger of God. In 1952, Malcolm asked the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to assume the name Malachi Shabazz, but he was denied. The name Malcolm in Scots Gaelic means devotee to St. Columba. Interesting that Barack allegedly went to Columbia University, although no one in his class ever saw him there. In spring of '64, after he left the Nation of Islam and made his pilgrimage to Mecca, Brother Malcolm took the name El Hajj Malik al-Shabazz. The name Omawali Yoruba, meaning the son who has come home, was bestowed on him by students after a speech he gave at the University of Ibadan. Shabazz, in Iranian, is from the Persian Shahbaz, meaning royal falcon. The word generally means royal, generous, noble. So, one of our heroes was Heru, or carried the name of Heru. Now, The Muhammad Speaks newspaper dated April 1962 had a front page caption that read, "More than 12,000 people on February 23rd gathered in Chicago's International Amphitheater to hear Messenger Elijah Muhammad speak on the future of the American so-called Negroes." Inside the newspaper on page 18, Ann and what looks like baby Barack are placed just below to the left of a photo of Malcolm X with the caption, "The young listen." Wow. Now, you know I like to do forensics. Oh, y'all want me to stop? No. Oh, okay, because it's going to get better. I thought that getting you into metaphysics and dealing with all kinds of super this and that, y'all heard all of that already, didn't you? Yeah, Dr. Valentine with that metaphysical. I thought y'all might want to know what's getting ready to happen tomorrow when they find out what you're finding out. The ramifications for black folks and what kind of trust America as whole with white folks is going to have in electing another one of us. Yeah, but they ain't gonna look it. Just to give you an idea, look at that head. That water head is just... Well, he cute though, ain't he? Look at him. All the girls say, oh, he's so cute. But here's the deal. From Badi's conception, then birth in October of 1959, till shortly before Malcolm's death in 1965, Malcolm lived just one street over from his son's first address in East Elmhurst, New York. The first address listed for Bari M. Shabazz is 3226 98th Street, Apartment 1, Elmhurst, New York. Malcolm's 1959 address was 2546 99th Street, East Elmhurst, New York. Malcolm and his family later resided at 2311 97th Street, East Elmhurst, from July 1960 through February 18, 1965, 3 days before his tragic death. That's the house, and what you're looking at is right after the bombing. You see all the stuff that they had, the fire, and the couch, some carpet, and so forth. So who is Barack Obama, really? Well, let's find out where he went, because if we don't know who he is, there has to be some kind of trail of where he has been. Where has he been? Well, you come to find out that Malcolm was brilliant strategist. He knew that if anybody found out that he had a son, remember he had all girls. He had all girls. Yeah. Here he has a son. And you know the son is the one that, you know, sorry ladies, when the guy has a son, it's like he's looking at himself. He loves little daddy's little girl, but when he's got that son, he can now trace back himself. He looks at himself growing up. When I have my sons, I look at them and all the stuff they did is like looking at yourself. And then you guide him based on the love that you have for him and him reminding you so much of yourself. Well, Malcolm knew that this boy would be in danger, just like you now see his grandson was. So he had to do something. Well, it came to find out that Malcolm had gone over to trips in Indonesia. He's traveled all over. World leaders loved Malcolm. But he had a special friend in Sukarno, the new Indonesian president who kicked the Dutch out of Indonesia. He was a fighter. And immediately, Malcolm and he established a wonderful friendship together. And he said to him, things are getting hot over here. I'm in danger. I know I'm going to die. I cannot have my son inherit. Would you take care of him. So the word is, and you have to understand now, I'm giving you information from a person called Martha Throwbridge. Now, that name sounds like intelligence to me. Martha Throwbridge gives you the idea that she's just a little old white lady that sits on a porch knitting, but comes up with some of the most sophisticated intelligence that you would ever want to mine. Definitely somebody who has been putting out information, and most likely Martha Throwbridge could be a whole network of researchers who have been trying to find out who he is. So Martha Throwbridge is the one who came up with a hell of a lot of information, and it happened like this. After I did Obama and the New Old Order, I let it go. But guess what? It went viral, and everybody was saying, oh man, this is crazy. Did you see the forensics? I didn't know that white people took it and started looking at it, because white people are looking, just another nigga, he's talking a lot of nonsense, he ain't saying nothing. But as soon as I started doing that, and I showed the eyes of his daughters, you look at Atala and his young daughter, they look so much alike, white people started saying, yeah, and they took that piece and they put it on theirs. And then I got a call from a white boy who has a blog talk show. Very respectful. He said, I would like to do a blog talk with you. We did a blog talk show, but I was very, very nebulous. I didn't say crap to him. I said, oh yeah, he did this, and I got it from there. I didn't want to talk to him. But I wanted to make sure that he knew that you could do the type of forensics that you think you could do, I could do it too. And I gave him just enough. But then he said, do you know that your research has been substantiated by somebody named Martha Throwbridge? And I said, he said, do you know her? I said, no, I don't know no Martha Throwbridge. So I was talking to him in a very nebulous way. I didn't want to let him know that you know more than you should know. So I gave him enough, and I kind of cut the interview kind of short. He was very nice, very respectful, so I was very respectful in return. But I did not give him all that I knew or could know, and I began following up on the lead he gave me about this Martha Throwbridge, and she came up with some serious information. So, part of it being that this brother Sukarno, President Sukarno, and Brother Malcolm, who shared a podium together, these brothers were good friends. He sent Barack over to Indonesia, and I kind of pieced it together to show you that he was part of the royal family, though his picture is not there, because it wouldn't be there. It wouldn't put his picture there for the danger of his life. But just imagine that in that royal setting, he was taught all of the amenities, the ethics and the high culture and all of the ways of leadership and how to speak, all of that there. Now, in August of 1994, at the age of 34, Barry M. Shabazz was reported to have died. From the Social Security Death Index database, Shabazz BM, 28 October 1959 to August 1994. Look at the coding, V34 PE, meaning non-specified, New York, that being his Social Security number. Now, it just so happens that on August 21st, 1994, the Illinois State Senate seat officially opened up. Mel Reynolds, the outgoing occupant who was just recently indicted, was ready to surrender his seat to one Alice Palmer, for whom Barack Obama was working at the time. With Palmer about to assume a public office, Barry M. Shabazz couldn't afford to leave a paper trail pointing to his real identity. The Social Security Death Index record states that the death information for Barry M. Shabazz was coded V. V signifies verified, report verified by, with a family member or someone acting on behalf of a family member. Anybody can report to the Social Security. The report is not coded P, signifies proof, a death certificate observed. This distinction is critical. Notice of death was made by an informant who did not present verification is reporting. That is, no death certificate was presented with the notification of death. SSA receives report of death from a variety of sources, including friends and relatives of deceased individuals, funeral homes, postal authorities, financial institutions, and federal and state agencies. Friends, relatives, and funeral home reports about 90% of deaths. Postal authorities and financial institutions report another 5% of death. Once in the federal system, Barry Shabazz's record was flagged PE, meaning an inconsistency exists between what was reported and what was recorded in the government's files. Now, I want you guys to get to know this man. Jewish guy. Mastermind. Last name Newman. Very inconspicuous and pretty much just another guy you see on the street. Probably you just want to put a couple of coins in his cup. But this man is a doctor of philosophy from Stanford University. Marxist, Leninist, communist, founder, pioneer of the U.S. independent political movement, political tactician and power broker, founder of social therapy clinics nationwide, founder of the International Workers' Party, which had an office right across the street and about 2 flights up. I think of Queen Fu and I had to go up there one day, and they tried to invite us into it to become part of it. That was a long time ago. Yes, right across the street, 2nd or 3rd floor. Founder of the New Alliance Party, author, playwright of a play about Malcolm X, entitled Billy and Malcolm, a demonstration produced at his New York City theater in 1993, and Barack Obama's uncle. What? Say what? Fred Newman was the grandmaster of infiltration politics. From his work, Psychopolitics, What Kind of Party Is This Anyway? Newman states he and his followers intend to enter the National Caucus of Labor Committees to change it from the inside. And change it he did. It was Newman's Independence Party fronted by Leona Fulani, remember her? Pretty sister. AKA Leonora Branch. That was the deciding factor that made Michael Bloomberg mayor of your New York City. For this, his various organizations received very generous funding, both private and public. His IDP, or Independence Party, bolstered and literally ran Ross Perot's Reform Party, as well as supported Pat Buchanan's old guard republicanism when he ran for the Reform Party. Look at Pat Buchanan with a black person in the same picture. Look at your boy, she's there. Look at this. And oh, it gets better. Prior to 2008, by the time Barack Obama announced his presidential bid, Newman had already coordinated and managed 3 presidential candidates for black candidates with strategic political genius and the likely biological link between he and Project Vote founder Sandy Newman. In the mid-'80s, Sandy Newman hired Obama to organize Chicago. Ooh. The dots are getting closer and closer together. This is I'm giving you New York politics. There they are. It was Fred Newman. This man was the genius behind these two people being put on the presidential ballot. In fact, it was Lenora Fulani. She was the first black woman to be put on the presidential ballot on every state, in every state of the Union, because of this man. What I'm saying is, and this is what I'm talking about in here, is that Lenora Fulani, and you remember when she ran for the presidency, and you remember when my boy Al ran for presidency, well, this was the brain behind it all. And when you look at everybody that he has influenced, why is it so far-fetched to think? How is it that Barack Obama, as a freshman senator, got to open the address for the Democratic National Convention? Freshman. Remember when he put her in, Sotomayor? Well, she was an affiliate of Newman. Everybody now has now been connected to this one man. Who was he? This man was one of the most shrewdest infiltrators of the United States. Now you have to understand that the Jews do not like white people. Oh, I know it says, okay. I know I've now stepped into it. He said, well, they damn sure white looking. Well, let me tell you. I have a little book out called The Wounded Womb. Yeah. You might have heard of it. Thank you. This is what a man said, a Jew, who read this. I read this. Greetings, my children. You have all been called here to recapitulate the principal steps of our new program. As you know, we had hoped to have 20 years between wars to consolidate the great gains which we made in World War II. But our increasing numbers in certain vital or vital areas is arousing opposition to us, and we must now work with every means at our disposal to precipitate World War III within 3 years. The goals for which we have striven concertedly for 3,000 years is within our reach, and because its fulfillment is so apparent, it behooves us to increase our efforts and our caution tenfold. I can safely promise you that before 10 years have passed, our race will take its rightful place in the world, with every Jew a king and every Gentile a slave. Our most pressing problem is to inflame the lagging militaristic spirit of the Americans. Within 5 years, this program will achieve its objective, the Third World War, which will surpass all destruction, all previous contests. Israel, of course, will remain neutral. And when both sides are devastated and exhausted, we will arbitrate, sending our control commissioners into the wrecked countries. This war will end for all time our struggle against the Gentile. We will openly reveal our identity with the races of Asia and Africa. I can state with assurance that the last generation of white children are now being born. Did you hear what I said? Our Control Commission will, in the interest of peace and wiping out interracial tensions, forbid whites to mate with whites. The white woman must cohabit with the dark races, the white men with black women. Thus the white race will disappear. For mixing the dark with the white means the end of the white man, and our most dangerous enemy will only be a memory. We shall embark upon an era of 10,000 years of peace and plenty. The Pax Judaica and our race will rule undisputed over the world. Our superior intelligence will easily enable us to retain mastery over the world of dark people. Our interests in Washington are greatly extended. The 4-point program for developing industry in backward areas of the world, so that after the industrial plants and cities of Europe and America are destroyed by atomic warfare, the whites can offer no resistance against the large masses of the dark races, who will maintain an unchallenged technological superiority. What page? It's on the page 105 and 106 from the game, Pawns in the Game. And let me read this to you. A man by the name of Israel Coleman, author of A Racial Program for the 20th Century, says, and I quote, "We must realize that our party's most powerful weapon is racial tension. By pounding into the consciousness of the dark races that for centuries they have been oppressed by the whites, we can mold them to our program of the Communist Party." I remember Dr. John Henry Clark himself said he was coerced into that. Cohen continues, "The words colonialism and imperialism must be featured in our propaganda. In America, we will aim for subtle victory. While inflaming the Negro against the whites, we will endeavor to instill into the whites a guilt complex for their exploitation of the Negroes. We will aid the Negroes to rise in prominence in every walk of life, in professionals and the world of sports and entertainment." This was written in 1912. See, I knew you wouldn't want to hear nothing about no metaphysics. But this is metaphysics. So I said at the bottom, is the enemy of my enemy my friend? Or is the friend of my enemy my friend? Or is the enemy of my enemy my enemy? Wounded Womb, if you want a copy, come up here last time and put your name down and you'll have a discount for it. So, now we know that a Jew by the name of Newman has been manipulating situations politically. He literally commandeered the Democratic Party without party operatives even noticing he did it. Even getting a freshman congressman from Chicago to be the keynote speaker of the 2004 Democratic National Convention. Then, after decades of practice, honing his skills at political infiltration, the fourth time was the charm. Through his ultimate triumph, Fred Newman managed to pull off perhaps the greatest election coup in American political history. Uncle Fred, as he was known to some, literally groomed, refined, brokered, manipulated, empowered, cajoled, and convinced an entire country and the world to vote for and unilaterally support the spook who got in the damn door. Y'all want me to keep going? Yes! But the dude do look good there, though, you know? I could see a couple of more brothers up in that spot. But then he ain't did shit for dark folks. And I think that has been a result of the fact that his mentor uncle died in 2011. Now you'll notice that he's not ashore anymore. But then you got it here. Look at this. Look at the guys on the right. Look at that. Look at Al back there. Y'all got to think about this when these devils find out what has happened to them. But it's all right. See, they don't know that. These people don't know. They just think that a nigger snuck into their private, very sacred space. The one who protects them and their constitution and their white privilege. So I like the fact that Obama said, and if you notice, in all of his pictures, he's just saying, fuck y'all. Constantly. Throwbridge summarizes her thesis this way. Barack Obama sprang from a family-run political activist network which, since the 1960s, has been diligently organizing to achieve a socialist vision of America. This network was spearheaded by Fred Newman, the primary purpose of which was to organize the overthrow of America's socio-political economic system. That is, to shift the American model from one of racist democracy and capitalism to Marxist socialism, which is a whole other form of oppression. Because any form of government that is headed off by people who essentially believe themselves to be leaders and be better than you, essentially that's it. But then I thought I'd have some fun with some brothers that I respect. So I figured I wanted to show this up. Here we go. Now, even Minister Farrakhan was introduced to Newman and knew of Newman and knew of Fulani. And from what I understand, I remember him saying, these people were weird. He was sitting between them. He said they were crazy. They were weird. But then it occurred to me that he wrote books with them. Independent Black Leadership in America by Minister Louis Farrakhan, Dr. Lenora Fulani, and Reverend Al Sharpton. They wrote a book together. Do these people really know who Barack Obama is? And they keeping it on the down low. If that's the case, then prevent the rise of a messiah who would unify and electrify. Malcolm X might have been such a messiah. Remember we said this? Yes. COINTELPRO, check. COINTELPRO, check. Check. All right, class. Then if that's the case, why would you then say, quote, Barack has captured the youth. He has involved young people in the political process that they didn't care anything about. That is a sign. When the Messiah speaks, the youth will hear. And the Messiah has actually spoken, absolutely spoken. Why would you call him that, knowing that that would immediately, as a political figure of magnitude, put COINTELPRO on him? Could it be that because of the fact, oh, of course he came back, Obama's not the Messiah. He's the first president that sanctioned what the scriptures forbid, of course, getting into that gay and marriage and that. He said, I warn you, my brother, don't you let these wicked demons move you in a direction that will absolutely ruin your future with your people in Africa and throughout the world. Why don't you organize a group of respected Americans and ask for a meeting with Gaddafi? You can't order him to step down and get out. Who the hell do you think you are? From Messiah to who the hell do you think you are? Now it's very interesting because remember Gaddafi had said to Minister Farrakhan, the entire resources of Libya are at the nation of Islam's disposal. Right. So if they get rid of Gaddafi, and Gaddafi had a serious program. I mean, his country ran smoothly. Everybody in his country got part of the oil receipts. When you were married, you received $50,000 and they built you a home. All free, all education was free, up and through PhD. Everything was running smoothly. He even built the biggest water aquifer leading to his country that fed other countries. Why would you want to tear that down? He was then named an honorary leader for the African Union because he was about to disperse all of the resources and put that at the command of unifying Africa. Yes. Now, why would Obama want to kill something like that? Because it represented every damn thing that his mentor was trying to manifest in the presidency. Something ain't kosher. Why did he say that? Why did he call him the Messiah and then say he's not the Messiah? Because he talked about homosexuality and this and gave these leeways. Well, these excerpts are from the documentary by Brother Omar Shabazz entitled Naked Lies, The Continuous War Against Malcolm X. Now, I know all you brothers who are in the nation and all the brothers who are in the nationalist movement are going to hate what I'm saying, but I'm only saying what's already been reported. I give you all big ups for all of what you do, but guess what? There are certain things that our people are being affected by based upon your decisions, collectively. Now, there are things going on behind the scenes, and is it a family affair? It's a family affair. Remember? In it, he shows Minister Farrakhan praising Malcolm's killer. Malcolm was your traitor. Was Malcolm your traitor or ours? If we dealt with him like a nation deals with a traitor, what the hell business is of yours? Now, you know Minister Farrakhan's a West Indian like me, so he can have some serious temper. A nation has to be able to deal with traitors and cutthroats and turncoats. In 1994, Betty Shabazz was asked whether Farrakhan, quote, had anything to do with Malcolm's death. Without thinking twice, she said, of course, yes. Nobody kept it a secret. It was a badge of honor. Everybody talked about it. Yes, this was Mother Betty. In 60 Minutes, Atala Shabazz, Farrakhan finally admitted to playing a role in his assassination and apologized for his, quote, complicity. I may have been complicit in words that I spoke leading up to February 21st. I acknowledge that and regret that any word that I have said caused the loss of the life of a human being. He apologized. And Atala came back and said, yes, it is true that a black man pulled the trigger. We cannot deny any responsibility in this. This is what Minister Farrakhan continued by saying. Where we are responsible, where our hands are part of this, we beg God's mercy and forgiveness. He says, I genuinely hope that perhaps a healing can come to Ms. Shabazz and her family. Well, Atala is a strong sister. She said, no, I ain't going for it. She said, yeah, but a black man shot him. And we can't blame anybody, FBI, none of that. Black man shot him, and from people from the nation. But again, Throwbridge summarizes the theory this way. Barack Obama sprang from a family-run political activist network, which, since the 1960s, has been diligently organizing to achieve a socialist vision. Now, it occurred to me as I'm looking at pictures, because I'm a guy who likes to look at pictures and see similarities and things. So when I was looking at certain pictures, it was such an interesting thing when I began to look at the head structure of my brother, who just so happens to have the same name. Hi, boo. Malik Shabazz. Barry Malik Shabazz. Same place. Talking at the same time. And it was so interesting because there they are. And if you look at the head shapes, but I did something else. I decided to kind of show that the top part of the head forensically, and I'm only having some fun here because I did the same thing with Malcolm, but I had some fun. I just moved the glasses over here. Yes, no? Like a baby version, right? Handsome brother, cute little kid, look the same. Relatives?